Welcome back everyone, and today we're discussing 7 new jobs that I'd like to see implemented into ERLC. If you do enjoy videos like this, please consider subscribing. Let's get straight into this. Now, if you think back to the previous update, the developers added the Premium Jobs Game Pass. For 400 Robux, currently all you get with this is the Judge job in the new courthouse. And this kind of got me thinking, like surely with a game pass like this for 400 Robux, that they're going to be adding more civilian jobs soon or revamping current civilian jobs. So I reached out to my recording team and gathered up some of the best job suggestions. Some are new, some are updates to current jobs we already have. If you do have your own suggestions, something we didn't include in this video, then please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear it. So we started at the prison with a corrections officer, aka a prison guard. Now, I personally love the prison for role plays. I think it's a really fun place, and it's very different as well. You know, prison totally secluded away from the real world. So I think they can invoke some pretty cool role plays, and I'd like to see more done to the prison. I think the building has stood its time. It was added 3 years ago now, but definitely still one of the best in the game. There are a few changes I'd make. Canteen would be nice to see something like that. More rec areas for the inmates, and maybe even like a visitor room where civilians can interact with inmates in holding. All of these are very realistic additions to the current prison, given how much room there is. If you look through the walls, there is plenty of empty spaces within the prison that rooms could be added within. But either way, back to the job. Now, in a public server, a prison guard essentially is going to be looking after the inmates who are in there for a few minutes, let's say. I think a feature that could both enhance this job and the prison as a whole is the ability to escape. Now, I'm not entirely sure how this would look like, maybe blowing up a wall, people outside could help you get out, or stealing keycards to unlock doors. Either way, it would then be the prison guard's job to ensure the inmates don't escape. We could have a couple of CCTV cameras around the prison, which the guards could check on in the command room, essentially very similar to the traffic cams we have in the dispatch rooms in PD. And then all they need to really be equipped with is a non-lethal weapon, maybe a baton, flashlight, and a pair of handcuffs, and that's about it. And for private servers, there are 2 things I'd love to see. One would be increasing the maximum sentence time to maybe 20 or 30 minutes, allow longer prison role plays. And second would be the ability to lock and unlock doors. This way, medics or non-essential personnel can be moved through the prison where needed. So next up is trucking. And I think this is something a lot of people have wanted to see for a while. Semi-trucks, box trucks added to the game. A lot of roleplay opportunities for these. And it's kind of just a fun task in public servers if you're grinding out quick deliveries. Now, given the size of the map, I don't believe we'll be seeing semi-trucks anytime soon. If they expand the highways, expand the map a bit, and add some larger roads that semi-trucks could realistically fit on, maybe otherwise, but I think for the time being, box trucks or even just larger vans will do the job, and here in this video we're using MCUs. I will warn you, the lag when we were filming this video was pretty crazy, so ignore the flying vehicles. But either way, I think this could be a pretty fun and chill job to do in the game. You take delivery shipments from the warehouses to shops in River City, or the delivery bays in Springfield, just behind, I think it's a Wear Apparel. There's a couple down there, and then there's a couple in the alleyway behind the hotel as well. So there's plenty you could do with deliveries. They also have technically got interior assets for warehouses from last Halloween's event, so they could very easily put something together, in my opinion at least. Now, given the size of the map, obviously the delivery routes are only going to be 1 or 2 minutes maximum, but I still think they can have a lot of fun with this. We could do warehouses to shops in the city to people's homes, even moving assets from Springfield to River City. There's plenty they could do with this, and I think the developers could have quite a bit of fun making this one. Next, we move over to the hospital to talk about the doctor, because I know this already is a job, but I think they could completely revamp this and the hospital to give us so much to do there. Right now, I don't think the hospital is by any means bad. It has plenty of rooms inside, the exterior design is pretty nice in my opinion, and it does what it needs to do. But seeing the popularity of games like Maple Hospital and what they include in their facilities makes me think that ERLC could revamp the hospital, keep maybe the exterior layout to some extent, but add in some new rooms, new tools, and maybe even some functionality. Now, I know many people will disagree with this one because the hospital isn't used in public servers, it's primarily roleplay servers that use this. But if they did want to go the extra mile and add some more functionality, we could have actual injuries in the game for both players and NPCs that need to be treated at hospital. I don't know entirely how this would work, but I'm sure the developers could come up with something if they wanted. Moving on to a mechanic, and this job would technically be split between the River City mod job and the Springfield mod job, since there are two locations on either side of the map. Now I think this is a pretty interesting one. For roleplays, we could have stuff like a jacklift, wrench set, spray guns, tire tools, all those sort of things that we can work on a car with, and maybe also some animations where you can actually lay under a vehicle, or the hydraulic struts actually work and you can lift a vehicle up and down. And maybe we can have a private server setting as to where, when you pull up to the mod shop, instead of your car teleporting away and you just go through the UI changing the color of your car, repairing the damage, etc., another player can do that. Using the tools that they have, they can actually repair your car or change the color. And in public servers, we can have the exact same thing with NPC vehicles that just pull up, park, and then you're given a list of instructions or tasks you need to perform on the vehicle. So next up is a power plant operator. And stick with me here because I know this one is slightly niche. But the power plant was added back in 2019, I believe. Basically has been in the game since the beginning and has remained relatively untouched through multiple map revamps, which is pretty rare in this game. But essentially, the job of an operator would be to maintain the power plant. Pretty simple, right? But I think there's a couple of cool server-wide events that could take place if either the power plant goes down and is not maintained, or someone messes with it and there's actually foul play involved. First off, citywide blackout. All of the street lamps go off, all of the traffic lights go out, and all of the city building lights turn off. I think that could be a pretty cool one. It's good for roleplay, and I guess it's cool for public servers because you actually have to do something, and then you can get money or job XP for repairing the generators. And secondly, we could have a fire. The power plant goes on fire, it overheats, fire department has to come down, and then that's another call out for the fire department. So I think there's a lot of things you could do with it. Yes, it is probably one of the smaller jobs on this list, and one that would probably not receive as much support as some of the other, but I still think there's some pretty cool events and call-outs that could be linked to it. So, the penultimate job on this list, the farmer. Now, if you take a look at the area the farm sits on the ERLC map, it takes up a good bit of the county. A good bit of the land is dedicated to the farms and the fields. So at least in my opinion, I think it's only fair to give it a pretty nice job. Now, I don't expect the developers to go out there and create an entirely detailed farming system, but it would be cool for a few more features than we have currently. I think first off, I'd like to see updated fields. They are currently just a big block. It would be nice to see something slightly more resembling whatever really they'd be growing in these fields. And secondly, for the job itself, maybe some more tools, animations, attachments to the tractor. That could be quite a cool one to see actually plowing the fields. And I also had the idea of maybe like a delivery system. So you can load produce into something like a dump truck and then transport that off and go sell it in Springfield, for example. In my opinion, that would be the ideal farming job in ERLC. You know, has good roleplay abilities, but at the same time, you can just chill in public servers and grind away and earn some cash if you want to. To wrap this video up, we have my favorite, which is the mayor. Now, I don't have any footage, so enjoy some racing around ERLC whilst I discuss my ideas behind this. Now, out of all the jobs I've listed in this video, the mayor is probably the least likely to be added, but I still think there's a chance, and it is my personal favorite, that's why I'm including it in this video. Like the judge, it would be just one person at a time elected to be the River City mayor. I don't think it makes sense to have a River City and Springfield mayor at the same time, both in charge of different things, so for the sake of this game, we'll just condense it down into one River City mayor. In public servers at least, and this is kind of inspired by the Wild West on Roblox, the mayor can request a security detail. So essentially law enforcement can escort the mayor around, keep them safe, and if they don't get killed within X amount of time, they get a nice little paycheck from the city. I'm not really too sure what else a mayor could do in public servers, because a lot of my ideas for this role at least center around private servers, because with private servers the mayor can adjust the speed limits. They could have permission to do that. They could tax people, they could fine people, they could give certain people in departments a pay raise. The mayor can also spend the city's budget, so maybe there's a couple of pre-allocated things that the mayor can upgrade in the city, like some buildings or parks. They could add in some statues if they wanted, and these are like server upgrades almost. I know I'm kind of going a bit crazy with this one, but trust me, I think this could be a really cool idea. I just don't know exactly how they'd pull it off. So if you do have any suggestions on how a mayor role could work in ERLC, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Well, thank you very much everyone for watching this video. I do hope you enjoyed. And if you do have any job suggestions of your own, drop them in the comments. I really would love to hear what you think ERLC could be adding in the future. That's all for now. Subscribe if you did enjoy, and I'll see you on in the next one.